Welcome back to Film Recapped. Today I will show you a thriller from 2015 named The Collection of Anna Fritz. Spoilers ahead, look out and fare thee well. The group of Anna Fritz, a renowned celebrity, is being moved into the burial service home by an organized in light of the fact that she had passed on in a restroom during a confidential party, and her examination will be played out the following. Warning: deliberate taking her inside his scene, placing her body in accordance with the others, revealing her face and snapping a photo of her with his telephone. Afterward, Ivan and Javi are seen strolling into the same medical clinic and requesting to see the precise. Power meets them in the emergency clinic entryway, and Ivan inquires as to whether he has more photographs to show them. Then, at that point, snickers about it and lets him know that they will be showing up for a party. I haven't inquired as to whether he needs to go along with them yet. Powell says that he needs to work until late, which is in an hour from that point, then makes him find a spot for them where they can do a line. Powell takes them to the dumpsters out back and tells them no to contact the yellow one since it's for human waste. Side interests irate that he would bring them there since it smells, then takes a jug and a few cups out. Powell hesitantly acknowledges the cup, since he has more work to do, and lets them know that he would rather not show up at the party on the grounds that he has more work in the first part of the day. They advise him to secure another position, yet he makes sense of that. He likes working in the burial service home. The three companions toast for the sake of the as of late left Anna Fritz, and afterward Powell makes them pick up the pace. I've been gotten some information about her body, what's more, in the event that LB investigated it, yet when he says that he did, Javi flinches. He lets them know that her body will be in the burial service home of the emergency clinic. See until the following day. Powell takes them inside the clinic, and Javi imagines that they're kidding and won't really go down in the burial service home. In any case, Ivan continues to bother Powell. They take the lift to the storm cellar, and, as they stroll through the labyrinth of foyers, Powell advises them to imagine that they're lost if somebody stumbles over them. At the point when they show up at the burial service home, he opens the entryway and guides them inside. Javi needs to leave since he's apprehensive somebody will get them there, and they will not have the option to lie out of the circumstance. The others persuaded him to remain in. Power shows them to see the body of the entertainer. Once the two of them stand adjacent to it, Javi says that he feels creeped out in light of the fact that he's never seen a dead body. Powell tears the sheath away from the body and they hop back since he's uncovered the body of an old woman. He chuckles at them and Ivan requests to find Anna Fritz. They stroll over and he uncovers right in front of him. Be that as it may, Ivan pulls the cover down and Powell says that she doesn't actually look dead when Ivan snatches her bosoms. He advises Javi to do it as well, and he hesitantly puts his hand on her chest, saying that she's virus. Ivan believes should do a different line there. Yet, Javi simply needs to leave and go to the party. Powell conceals the body and the two of them join Ivan to do another line of coke. Ivan says that everybody would need to lay down with the entertainer and uncovers her whole body. They have a very camouflaging discussion about what it might be want to lay down with a dead lady. Furthermore, LB lets them know that he laid down with a dead body of a young lady. Ivan inquired as to whether he had laid down with Anna Fritz as well, and Javi jokes that he'll likely do it when they leave. Then, at that point, Ivan says that he needs to lay down with her, to the nausea of Javi, who lets him know they are to leave, since he's alcoholic. Bódy appears to be ready for Ivan's desire and lets Javi know who needs to get out of there to stand by in the other room until the necrophiliac is done, then pushes him there. Javi can hardly imagine how his companion would follow through with something like that. However, when Powell glances through the entryway, he can see I've been preparing to lay down with a dead body. Javi blows a gasket in skepticism about what's going on and caused the two of them wiped out. Power doesn't share that assessment. So when Ivan returns, he goes out to do similar side interests, the final straggler that appears to see the issue with what they're doing. Be that as it may, Ivan generally thinks of some debilitated clarification similarly as debasing, conveying individuals for why he ought to attempt it to. Powell gets on top of the entertainer and does his business when she wakes up. To make matters much more horrendous, Anna is really alive. What's more, when Powell at long last understands that he blows a gasket, the two others raced into the memorial service home. As the lady looks at them lying on the memorial service chunk and movable still, Javi is the first to move toward her and tells her to quiet down and orders the others to get her some water. At the point when they don't move, he does, gets the water himself and gives it to her as the others are blowing a gasket. Javi asks Power what they ought to do now in the event that they ought to hit a specialist or take her up into the medical clinic. Then, at that point, goes to the lady and inquires as to whether she's cold and goes to get something to dress her with. Ivan asks Power she saw him, and in the event that she doesn't have the foggiest idea what really befell her, yet he realizes she saw him. Javi returns and puts a clinical outfit on Anna when Ivan stops him and lets him know that they need to thoroughly consider what is going on. Out of nowhere, they hear somebody coming to the burial service parlor and need to conceal. Javi contends that they ought to remain in, make sense of, yet they actually pull the cover over her face and squat down. A precise guidelines, another dead body in the memorial service home and no attempts to bring him over. However, she can scarcely make a sound. She figures out how to pull the cover off. Yet, he doesn't see her before he leaves. Javi rapidly gets back to her side and attempts to quiet her, and Ivan makes him go to the next room. Furthermore, work it out. Powell and Ivan are going nuts about what might occur on the off chance that anybody would learn about what they did, saying that since she's popular it would emerge wherever, from papers to the TV. Javi attempts to persuade them that she doesn't have any idea how they treated her and that she didn't see them. However, Powell was stressed that she knows. Ivan affirms it and says that she'll talk, yet Javi couldn't care less and needs to help her. He tells them that everyone feels that she's dead and suggests that they ought to kill her, yet Javi would even not like to examine it and doesn't mind that Powell and Ivan are both engaged with what occurred. Javi leaves and starts hauling the body out of the memorial service home when Ivan stops him and beseeched him to avoid it since he would rather not go to prison. The main normal companion inquired as to whether they comprehend what they're asking him. They're inquiring him to kill her, which alarms Anna when she hears it. Javi advises Ivan to open the entryway, as she implores him to get her out. Then, at that point, goes to open it himself when they understand that the entryway is locked and that Power has left the keys outside. Ivan and Javi battle, however Ivan punches him nearly to death before Powell can get him off of him. Power checks assuming he's all right, and says that he's breathing yet losing a ton of blood. Ivan apologizes to him. His Power returns with a sheet for his head. Ivan says that they ought to call somebody, however rather leave him someplace in the emergency clinic where he'll be effectively found. They drag him to the next room and put him in a corner. Javi is scarcely alive. Ivan tells ability to get the young lady inside the room so they can call for somebody to open them from the memorial service home. Powell understands that they additionally need to tidy up first. While Ivan advises Javi to deceive the police when they addressed him, he tells him not to express anything about the young lady, then, at that point, leaves with powder cleanup. Javi wakes up and apologizes to Anna, telling her that he'll find support. However, she tells him not to move since she realizes that he will pass on, assuming he does. The two others stroll in and she tells them that he's not doing so great, draining out. However, Javi advises her to quiet down. Unexpectedly, the other precise strolls inside the memorial service home and Powell goes to meet him as Ivan keeps Anna calm. Powell lets the man know that the organized from the night shift secured him when the man requests to see the body from Anna Fritz. He figures out how to get him out of there and leaves Anna and Javi alone with Ivan. He keeps an eye on Javi, yet the man is now dead. Ivan attempts to revive him and Antichrist since he's passed on. Powell returns and Ivan lets him know that Javi is dead. The deliberate cries as I've been letting him know that regardless of whether they brought him higher up, he could never have endured in light of the fact that he was not doing so great. Powell says that they'll spend their whole life in prison, that Ivan says that they'll dispose of his body too and inquire as to whether they haven't done a lot of malicious as of now, and says that she won't tell anybody. Ivan gets power and tells him to overlook her, since what they in all actuality do next will check their other lives. They contend and Ivan attempts to maneuver him toward accepting that they are both equivalent shortcoming, and that regardless comes out, everybody will understand what he did. In the interim, Anna gets herself down from the section and glances through leisure activities pockets for his telephone. Ivan asked how they can get leisure activities body out of the medical clinic in a garbage bin, and he answers that they can utilize the crisis entryway. When they head inside, they see Anna on the telephone and she lets them know that she called her dad, and Emily let him know that she awakened. Ivan checks the telephone, understanding she's called a number, and she lets him know that her dad is looking for help and they will come for her. They imagine that it's over on the grounds that she called from leisure activities telephone, and they take her higher up. Unexpectedly, an obscure number calls side interests telephone, and Ivan gets it when Anna shouts. Furthermore, Powell keeps her calm. He understands that the call never overcame totally and that she misled them, so they bring her back to the burial service back home. Ivan hits Anna and contends with her when she lets him know that it's no big surprise that he assaults dead bodies, since he's revolting. He lets me know how to tie her up while he goes out to get a garbage bin. Powell gets some dressing and starts cutting it up when Anna lets him know that assuming he does everything Ivan says to him, he'll clearly wind up in prison. In any case, he isn't a killer and he can't let either kill her, colloquialism that she's alive as a result of him, and won't utter a word. What's more, it beseeches It beseeches him to let her go, however Power ties her up. By the by, she lets him know that Ivan killed Javi before her while he was out of the room, and that he never planned to take him to the medical clinic. Powell believes that she's lying to him once more and puts tape over her mouth. Meanwhile, Ivan goes to get the rubbish, yet winds up caught behind it, since certain medical attendants go out to smoke their wall powers, cleaning up the other room, and it takes out the tape and attempts to get the restrictions from her. Uninvolved, Be that as it may, when she doesn't make do, she takes out the ones from her legs and drops down on the floor and creeps herself out of the burial service home, figuring out how to conceal in the nick of time before Ivan returns. At the point when he returns, he lets Powell know that she got away, and they split up to look for her in the labyrinth of corridors and escapes catch for some time, slithering all through the lobbies. Also, ultimately figures out how to recover financially. Yet, she falls down and creeps to the lift. At the point when she assumes she's securely inside, Ivan gets the entryway and hauls her back to the memorial service home. Powell returns and inquires as to whether he killed Javi when he wasn't anywhere near, so Ivan lets him know that she needs to set Powell against him. They return inside and Ivan is prepared to kill her. So he tells Powell they will choke out her with bedsheets. Powell would rather not make it happen, and neither does Ivan. Yet, eventually, he chooses that the two of them ought to kill her. They choke out her, and as they do it she pees over herself. Powell assists Ivan with lifting her back on the chunk, and afterward they get Hobbs' body into the garbage. Ivan goes to take the body out and dump it someplace while Powell tidies up the memorial service home and Anna's body. At the point when Ivan leaves the emergency clinic and dumps Javi on the street, returning the rubbish where he found it, Hal cleans in his body from the entirety of the proof about what occurred. He covers her body with another sheet and returns her to the line with the others. Powell gets his stuff and sits tight for Ivan. When he hears Anna hacking, he heads toward the body, and when he uncovers her, advises her to imagine that she's dead. Then, at that point, she wakes up and checks him out. Ivan returns and Powell conceals Anna. Then, at that point, advises Ivan to leave since he got everything. Ivan strolls over to her and takes a last check out if he tidied her up well. Both of them leave. Be that as it may, before they get to the lift, Ivan understands that he's feeling the loss of his card. Powell make an effort not to return to the burial service home, and when they enter, they see Anna on her feet. Ivan assaults Powell and attempts to kill him, however quits kicking him down and planning to leave when Anna appears and cuts him over and over. She hangs tight for him to bite the dust. Powell moves toward her, telling her that they were going to leave and she shouldn't have gotten it done. However, Anna takes a gander at him and wounds him to over. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching. Love you all.